Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to the channel and to a brand new Q&A video where you guys get to ask me the questions you want to know, whether it be about Battlefront 2 or anything else. This one is actually a really special one because you guys have managed to actually help me reach 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I want to say a massive thank you to all of you guys, and also a huge shout out to all of my channel members. You guys are the reason that I keep doing this. I love the community that I've built here with you guys, and with all of that, I couldn't have done it without you. So thank you again so much, and we are going to jump right into the question. So I did leave a community post for you guys to post questions on. Obviously channel members get 2 questions, everyone else that gets 1. I will read as many of them as I can now, but if I do miss any, I apologize. I just don't want these videos to go for super long, so I'll be sure to add them into the next one. But with that said, let's get into it real quick, starting off with Millennium Nugget. His first question is, what inspired you to start YouTube? Believe it or not, I just saw some other people doing it that were from Australia as well and kind of having some success, so I thought it would be a good chance to start. And I knew Battlefront 2 was coming out and I loved the first one, so I figured why not, and that's kind of how it started. Millennium Nugget has also asked the second question of what's the thing that makes you happiest? For me, honestly, it's hard to say. My dog is probably the number one thing that makes me happiest, and my family. Other than that, you know, just hanging out with you guys, being a part of a community and feeling really involved with someone. And on top of that, probably if I had to name a third thing, my job. I actually love what I do for work, so that's also a good bonus. Moving on to the brother Sammy Boy, he says his first question is, what are your goals for the future of the channel, and what are your thoughts on Battlefront 2 as a YouTube community? So the first question, the future of my channel, obviously 50k is the goal for this year, and to continue with Star Wars content as long as possible. I have thought of the future, and that's why I've kind of branched out to Twitch, which some of you guys might have seen. I've seen a couple of you guys popping over to the streams over there, twitch.tv/itstwisted with 4 Ds on the end. If you guys want to come check it out, I will link it down below. But that's kind of the future. Obviously I want to do Star Wars stuff as long as I can, but if I do need to rebrand at any stage, I can do it through that. To answer your second question, thoughts on the Battlefront 2 YouTube community. They can be wholesome at times, but they can also be toxic. I love the community that we have. You know, I say we because me and Sammy share a lot of the same subscribers, but ours is very, very wholesome. And there are certain YouTubers that actually attract the other kind of people on the community, which is the toxic kind, and I'm glad we keep most of those away from them. So I love it and I hate it at certain times, but I think we got the good end of the stick. Moving on, Philomena said, should Palpatine have stayed dead, or was it cool for him to come back in the Rise of Skywalker? Honestly, it's a hard one. Don't really know what else you could have done, or who you could have had the villain, unless you decided to bring back Snoke. So I think it was kind of cool. I didn't mind it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was just kind of something that happened, so I guess that's my answer on that one. Crash and Burn says, your life's on the line in a game of co-op for some weird reason. You got to get the highest possible score you can get. What 3 teammates are you choosing for your squad, and what character are you picking? So squad mates would probably be Sammy, PJ, and Jazza, and I would probably take... honestly, Luke would probably be the first one that I would pick if we had if it was in original trilogy co-op. That would probably be my plan, is to pick Luke, because I think he's one of my better heroes. Hiram says, if we got Padme, do you think Cad Bane would most likely be the one to go with her? Yeah, potentially. Cad Bane would be awesome. I'd love to see him, especially after seeing the mod in yesterday's video. Star Wars 34 says, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? I know, what about it? Shadow Hunter, would you rather have an Order 66 game mode or more maps for GA? GA, easy. Don't need to put any thought into that one. Darth Ritchie says, do you think that Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga is the best Star Wars game? No. It's hard to say. I think Jedi Fallen Order is right up there at the moment, and with the comeback that Battlefront 2 has made, I think it's in the question. But again, you can't go past like the older games, Knights of the Old Republic and the original Battlefront 2 on PlayStation 2. So there are so many. I just think all games are unique in their own way. It's hard to really compare them all. Ethan has asked, favorite non-Star Wars film, and what is the most underrated Star Wars film? Most underrated, probably The Phantom Menace, in my opinion, and I know I'm going to get hate in the comments for that, but it is one of my favorites, and I think it is underrated. Favorite non-Star Wars film is The Dark Knight, so from the Batman trilogy. General Saucy says, who's your favorite all-time Star Wars character and why? Favorite is probably Obi-Wan Kenobi, just because I think he's really mature and wise, and he's always been a cool character. He's so much in-depth explanation to his character and actual character development, I think really intrigued me. So that's my answer for that one. Big Man Bosk says, why are you twisted? Like, how did you choose your name? It was just something I kind of came up with. I think I was watching the Clone Wars arc where Maul was just being discovered that he was still alive and he was kind of crazy. And yeah, I think that's kind of where it stemmed from. So Potion Master says, okay, so last time I asked about what your lightsaber would look like. So this time, what force powers do you think you would like to have the most? Force Judgment, which is like the light side version of Force Lightning, would probably be number one. Number two, maybe like Mind Trick would be another cool one. But yeah, I mean, general force powers other than Force Judgment, I would assume. Hamza says, do you think it's worth creating content if you get nothing in return, whether it be money, followers, even clout? I honestly don't want to hear you saying do whatever you want as long as you enjoy it. Well, that's really the thing though, isn't it? You know, creating content needs to be something that you like doing. If you don't like creating content, then you shouldn't be doing it. It's about as simple as that. You know, you can't really just not say do whatever you want as long as you enjoy it without actually meaning it. So if you're going to actually create content, make sure you love what you're doing. If you're not going to get money out of it, if you're not going to get followers or clout, then you need to like it. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it. Larry says, what games did you play before Battlefront? I played a lot of stuff. Like I played Shadow of Mordor, Overwatch, like heaps. There was heaps of games. I played a little bit of COD. I'm trying to think what my main plays were. A lot of NBA 2K back in the day. You know, a couple other shooters and things like that. But yeah, Battlefront was when I really started getting serious about gaming. So why did I start my YouTube channel? I have answered that already. Brandon says, congrats man, you're one of my favorite YouTubers on the platform. Thank you, dude, I appreciate that. Jazza says, my question is, how do you feel about the future of Star Wars gaming moving forward? Honestly, it's a tough one. I think we need another Star Wars multiplayer game in the future after Battlefront 2, whether that be a Battlefront 3 or something else. We definitely need something like that, but I think we also need single player story games as well. We saw with the success of Jedi Fallen Order that it can be done, so I think they need to look at doing both. South Windu says, my question is, what is your favorite moment you've had from YouTube, whether it be on live stream or a certain video? Honestly, it was probably the Count Dooku stream where we had 2,500 people watching or something insane like that, and then on top of that, being invited out to Sweden to test some stuff for EA. That was probably a really cool moment as well for me. So right up there at the top. Samuel says, what is your favorite reinforcement across all three eras? I know you like the clone Jet Trooper, but the Ewok Hunter has now been getting high praise. Also, the ISB melee only video was hilarious. Well, I'm glad you liked the video. My favorite reinforcement, that's actually a tough one. It's hard to think. I do really like the clone Jet Trooper, but I think number one would have to be the BX Commando droid. So that's definitely on the top of my list. Yoda Epic says, what is your all-time favorite single player game? Jedi Fallen Order, probably. It's hard to go against it. It was such a great story and the gameplay was really good as well. So yeah, JFO number one. Julian says, what is your favorite clone skin in Battlefront 2? Wolfpack, easy. Zen says, what would you do if you did not do YouTube? Probably just work a normal job like I do now. YouTube is kind of like a side project at the moment because I do still work 40 hours a week. But yeah, I guess I would just do that without YouTube. So yeah, Ashley says, how were you first introduced to the Star Wars universe? I actually watched the movies with my dad growing up, so that's how I was first introduced to it and fell in love with it and have been with it ever since. So RJ says, what do you have planned for the future of your channel after Battlefront 2 stops being supported? Well, I have kind of mentioned that already. The Twitch channel, I am playing other games other than Star Wars, so probably look to grow that out a bit as well and try to keep this channel going with Star Wars content as long as possible and then move away from it if I need to, but hopefully we don't. Obi-Wan Kenobi says, if you got to add any 4 heroes, 2 good and 2 bad, who would you choose? Ahsoka, Ventress, Cad Bane, and Padme probably would be the 4 straight off the bat. Maybe Jango Fett, depending, but I love Cad Bane, so I think I'd rather see him. Daniel says, what's the greatest thing you've ever done in Battlefront 2? Like 74 kills with Grievous is probably the top of my list, I would say. Darth Vader asks, do you want Qui-Gon Jinn or the map Utapau in Battlefront 2? That's a tough one. I always want more heroes, but I always want more maps. If it's a Galactic Assault map, I would take Utapau. If it was a Supremacy map, I'll take Qui-Gon Jinn. So simple as that. I want more maps in GA, so that's how I'm going to answer the question there. Sun Brothers said, how would you feel about covering content outside of Star Wars? I mean, I already kind of have been a little bit more streaming than actually covering them, I guess, in a way. But yeah, something I'm starting to dabble in a little bit. Oliver wants to know, what are your thoughts on the future of Battlefront 2? Well, I think we'll get support for the rest of this year, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, who knows. But after that, I think they definitely need to look to do something else. M1 Crosika says, how long do you think Battlefront 2 will be supported? I'm assuming the rest of this year. clear, and then after that I'm not really too sure. Mr. Bear Hugs, what is your favorite epic moments from your Battlefront 2 gameplay? Again, the 74 kills with Grievous is probably right up there. Antonis says, what do you think about Anakin as a character, Hayden's version and the Clone Wars one? A lot of people didn't like Hayden's version, but for some reason I can't picture anyone else playing him. I think he did a good job, even though everyone said he was whiny. I think that was the character, not necessarily Hayden himself. The Clone Wars version is really cool and it does a good job of developing the character a lot more, so definitely props to Matt Lanter for the Clone Wars version. Jake says, who do you most enjoy doing kill streaks with? That's hard. I'm a Han Solo main at heart, so probably Han is the one that I try to go hardest with. And then second, probably Luke. And then on the dark side, I would say Boba is someone that's always really difficult to get streaks with, but I love trying to do so anyway. A couple more. Jacob says, top 3 favorite modes in Battlefront 2. Galactic Assault, Heroes vs Villains, and then I don't know, I don't really play the other modes all that much. I don't even play Supremacy anymore, so just those two pretty much. Favorite chocolate bar, brand and flavor. Oof, I'm not a huge chocolate person, but I guess when I was in America, I really liked the Hershey's cookies and cream flavor, so like the white Hershey's chocolate bars. They were always really nice. I'm Bored says, what's your favorite map? Naboo. Gregory, what first got you interested in Star Wars? Again, my dad. Antonio, top 3 favorite things about Battlefront 2. The gameplay is always really fun, the immersion is amazing, and just the graphics and the sound effects is always really cool too, so always gets me super Star Warsy in the mood, so I really like it. Redzy says, favorite color. My favorite color is actually orange, followed by red. Something different to start off, but yeah, red is my second favorite. Cheesy Nugget, how do I find what my playstyle is? Just practice, learning it, seeing where you make your mistakes. It's all about observing your own gameplay and seeing where you can improve. Darnie Biscuit says, if they were to be a Battlefront 3, what would you expect from it? Everything we have now, plus more maps and more heroes. Jedi Kiss Rock, my guy, says, you are the go-to for all things Battlefront 2. Cheers, mate, for all the subs. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Gibson says, what is your real name? My name's Jeff. No, I'm totally kidding. My name's actually Dylan. Ishan says, what are your 3 most satisfying abilities to use? Lightsaber throw from Darth Vader, General Grievous Claw Rush, and maybe Defensive Rush for Obi-Wan, probably my top 3. Really fun abilities. Matthias says, do you think your channel will keep growing to 50 and 60k? I hope so. That's the plan anyway. Matthew says, what is your favorite and least favorite vehicle to play as? I don't play vehicles. I think they're a little bit unbalanced. I think they're quite overpowered, so I don't really jump in a vehicle ever, really. I can't remember the last time I actually played as a vehicle, so, you know, I always did like using the AT-AT on Hoth. That was always quite fun when it worked. It doesn't really work, so the orbital strike's pretty broken, so I don't think I've been in a vehicle in the last couple of months, to be honest. Philomena says, do you think it was a good idea for George Lucas to sell Star Wars to Disney? I think he just had enough of it, so he decided to get rid of it. But, you know, what Disney did with it then is their decision. Phenomenal one. If you had to pick any bounty hunter to become a new hero on Battlefront 2, who would it be? Cad Bane, easy. Jedi Kiss, Darth Vader versus Batman, who wins? Darth Vader, easy, super easy. His second question is, across the whole Star Wars universe, who would you love to be? Anakin, because he was with Padme. Simple as that. That's really bad, but it's true. Mike says, what is your favorite Star Wars game? Again, Jedi Fallen Order and Battlefront 2 are probably both up there. Owen says, who do you think the next hero will be in Battlefront 2? I mean, I guess with the Scarif update, there's always a chance we could get Jyn and Krennic, but I think Ahsoka and Ventress are potentials as well, but hard to say if we're actually going to get any of them at this stage. Kurt says, what are your thoughts on the game's current state, and if you had the chance to do a collab with any Battlefront YouTuber, who would it be and why? Current state of the game, it's a little bit harder to play. It's getting a little bit stale with the lack of content in the last like 2 months, and then the Scarif update has of course just been delayed, so have to wait for that again. But I think for the most part they've relatively balanced a lot of it, and it's not very buggy at the moment, which is great. But yeah, it's just one of those things that you need to keep adding content to, otherwise people that play it every day like I do start to get bored. So second question, collab with any YouTuber. I mean, Elliot from Battlefront updates would be a really cool one. I think most of the other ones I've wanted to do collabs with I already have. have. So yeah, definitely Elliot would be at the top of the list. Shelley says, if you could pick any clone commander or captain to be a hero in Star Wars Battlefront 2, who would it be? Probably Rex or Cody, one of those two, definitely. Hello there says, I probably won't be able to join the stream, but congrats anyway. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. Dennis says, what's your favorite hero ability in the game and why? If I had to pick one, oh man, probably Grievous's Claw Rush, to be honest. It's such a fun ability, especially when you get a nice multi-kill with it. That's, yeah, I would say that's the one that I like using the most. What would be the perfect Star Wars game for you? An open world with multiplayer aspects as well, where you can go PvP. I don't know, kind of like a Destiny-ish style with multiplayer aspects to it, where you can go PvP would be really cool. I don't know how I would really describe it, but then again, a Battlefront 3 would be nice too. And if you could have any job in the world, what would it be? My current job. I really like what I do and I enjoy it, and don't think I'd trade it in for anything at this stage. So yeah. Blue Animal says, what is the thing you like most about Battlefront 2? The immersion. It's definitely a beautiful game, both in visual and audio. So they, yeah, definitely up there for that one. Cake or steak? Steak. Benjamin says, which video series has been your favorite to do? The hero concepts always are my favorite to do. I should really do more of them. RQT says, what's your dream car? I used to think about it a lot. I think Lamborghini is probably up there for me. I don't know which model exactly I would go for. I'd have to look at the current updated models, but yeah, definitely a Lambo would be awesome. Arthur says, should they add an IG-88 to Battlefront 2? It's always hard. They could, you know, they added Dengar and Greedo into the last one, so, you know, there's always potential that IG-88 could come, but I just don't think they're going to. Jack said, if you could bring one game mode to Battlefront 2 from 2015, what mode would you pick to join the roster and why? I wouldn't bring any, to be honest. I'd love to just get more content for the modes that we have, because I think if you add another game mode, it's just gonna split the player base even more and make it harder to find matches for the modes that are already there. Dak says, why are we still here, just to suffer? What do you mean, bro? We're not suffering, we live in. Fraser says, should I claim the title of Syrian president? Yes, you should. And to end it right there on a weird question, that is all of the questions from this Q&A. So I didn't expect it to be 20 minutes, but it's ended up being about 20 minutes. So I appreciate all of you guys that threw questions and decided to, you know, have something answered by me, and I appreciate all of you guys for 30k. Big things coming for the channel. Like I said, if you haven't followed me over on Twitch yet, be sure to do so. The link will be down below. But with all that said, I am going to get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for the questions. I will see you in the next video, and may the force be with you always.
The Sith are all powerful. You are no match for me.